Welcome once again to A-Level Biology. In the previous video, we looked at the cell membrane and its components, and in this video we shall look at the structure of the cell membrane, and we shall describe the structure of the cell membrane according to fluid mosaic model. When we look at the fluid mosaic model, we can see that we have two important words. We have fluid, we have mosaic. Why do we say it is fluid? Like we talked of different components of the cell membrane, the membrane lipids, the membrane proteins, cholesterol, all those are different components. So the cell membrane is said to be fluid. The reason is that the components can move freely across the bilayer. That's why we say the membrane is fluid. But why do we say it is again mosaic? Like when we look at the components from the previous lesson, we can see that we have proteins, we have phospholipids, we have the glycolipids, we have all these molecules. But if you can critically observe, these molecules have got different shapes. The sizes are also different. Therefore, we say that the membrane is mosaic because different components of different shapes and sizes all fit together. That's why we say that the cell membrane is fluid and it is again mosaic for these reasons. And therefore, the structure can be well described according to the fluid mosaic model. What is entailed in this model? We can observe that the cell membrane is made up of two layers of phospholipids. We have this layer and we have this other layer. This is one layer and this is another layer, and the whole of this is called a bilayer. It is called a bilayer. Therefore, the cell membrane, you can say the cell membrane is made up of phospholipid bilayer, we can see that we have the phospholipid heads which are drawn towards the external aqueous environment, and these ones, the other heads on the other side, they are pointing towards internal aqueous environment. So we can say that the hydrophilic phosphate heads are drawn towards internal and external aqueous environment, and saying that they are hydrophilic, it means they are water loving. They are attracted to the aqueous environment simply because they are water loving. Then the hydrophobic tails are hydrophobic fatty acid tails point away from the aqueous environment and create a hydrophobic core. You can see these tails of this layer and these ones are attracted together, and the whole of this here is what we call a hydrophobic core. We can see that we have some proteins attached on the surface of the membrane, which are called extrinsic proteins. We have some proteins which are embedded partially within the bilayer, and these ones are called intrinsic proteins. For example, the carrier proteins. We have these ones that span across the membrane with a channel, and they are called channel proteins. Then we also have these cholesterol molecules within the membrane. We can also talk about all those molecules. We can maybe say that some proteins are attached on the surface of the membrane, and they are referred to as extrinsic proteins. We say that some are partially embedded in the bilayer, and they are called, for example, the carrier proteins. We can say that some span across the membrane, and these are called transmembrane proteins. And we can say that the intrinsic proteins have got specific structures. Some have channels, and they are called channel proteins. Some are carrier proteins. All those ones are within the membrane. We can also talk about the cholesterol, which disturbs the cross-packing of the bilayer, and that is very important in regulating the membrane fluidity. We can also say that on the phospholipid we have a branching carbohydrate chain, and if this branching carbohydrate chain is attached on the phospholipid, it is called a glycolipid. And if this branching carbohydrate chain is also attached on the protein, it is called a glycoprotein. And therefore, if we are asked to describe the structure of the cell membrane according to fluid mosaic model, then we say that the cell membrane is made up of phospholipids. We talk about the hydrophilic heads, we talk about the hydrophobic fatty acid tails, we talk about the proteins that are included within, we talk about the glycolipids and the glycoproteins and their role and some of the examples of the proteins. I think you have understood how to describe the structure of the cell membrane according to fluid mosaic model. Thank you very much. Continue revising. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Back Science Consultants, for more videos.